All right, so to make Chuck happy, we're gonna not surprise, but this is what we're reviewing tonight. And now you get to watch me struggle for 8 minutes trying to get it out of the packaging because it's friggin' impossible. We do the Jeopardy theme now. Do, 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 do.
This is like King Arthur and the Sword and the Stone. It's like, are you worthy? Release.
Done. Master's Keep is a limited release from Wild Turkey. They do one a year. Last year they did the 17-year Bottled and Bond. I was not willing at that time to pull the trigger because it's an expensive bottle. We're talking like the 180 range. And I wasn't there yet. This year, I scored tickets to go meet Jimmy Russell himself, which he signed my bottle, which is really cool, and do a tasting at Wild Turkey to get this bottle. So it was well worth it at that point in time because, I mean, to meet a living legend, like, come on.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yep. And I was intrigued because this is the first toasted they did. So this is a blend of older stuff from Jimmy and younger stuff from Eddie, because that's what they generally like. And then they toasted it only for a little bit. I believe it was 3 months. I'll have to double check that because they didn't want too much of the toasted flavors to come through and overpower the bourbon because they still wanted the turkey to be front and center. So that's this bottle in a nutshell. So we're going to see how it tastes and smells and all that wonderful stuff. I will caveat it with, when I was there and I tried it, I thought it was very good. My wordage was crushable because you could just like pound this sucker, which is really dangerous for any bourbon. But it is 101 proof and toasted. So, yeah.
Comes in a sweet box.
It does. It comes in probably one of the coolest boxes you can get any bourbon in. And it is arguably one of the coolest bottles you can get. It's got a embossed turkey flying. It's just a sweet shape to the bottle. And then this cork could kill a man.
Is everything that the Bardstown Discovery Series is no more?
Pretty much, yep. So, all right.
So that's where the good topper went?
Yes. Oh, that nose is delightful.
I don't get much of the toasted note at all, really.
I get a
classic bourbon.
I get a bunch of the dusty turkey funk that people talk about. Like if you've ever heard people talk about like a Russell's Pick or rare breed or anything like that, and they say there's a turkey funk, and you never have understood it. If you get a chance to try this bottle, you're gonna get and understand what the dusty turkey funk is.
That is fruity. Am I the only one? Are you getting any like apple? I think I want to say like some strawberry.
Yeah, I was gonna say strawberry, but it's like just when it first hits the palate, it's like it reminds me of like when you first have juicy fruit gum for like the first 3 seconds. You have juicy fruit gum. That's what and then it's gone. But instead of just being gone rubbery, at that point, all the traditional bourbon notes come in. But yeah, you just get punched in the face with like juicy fruit gum right off the bat.
Yeah, and that's about the only time that I really, after that wave of fruit, then that toasted note comes in at the end for me.
Mm-hmm.
And at 100 proof, like the finish, like it's got a good mouthfeel.
It does. Still, like I can see if you are used to like rare breed or Russell's Pick, those are a whole lot more viscous and oily than this is. This is definitely more watery. But
yeah, that's proof point. What's rare breed? 115,
116, yeah. 116.8 or something crazy like that. But yeah. It definitely, so it's not one of those that coats the whole palate. It doesn't do that. It definitely hits the front of your tongue in the beginning with all the fruit, and then it coats my throat more than it does my tongue. which is interesting.
I keep going back to the nose, expecting it to open up and give me a little bit more, and I'd say that's maybe a weak point for me. Yeah. And then this palate is, I think, awesome. Like that's that level of fruit. I mean, we've got apple before. You got like those are characteristic notes, but the combination of the apple and strawberry, and that's a. Yeah, and then, good. Like I said, the wave leaves and it goes to this toasted finish, and then even a little bit of pepper kind of lingers on through. Like that's.
Yep. Yeah, but I will say the finish does die pretty quick. Like you still get the alcohol ethanol, not burn, tingle that lets you know that you're drinking bourbon, but the flavors die off quick. Nose, you want me to go first, and then you can bring it down if you need to?
Yep, go ahead.
So I would give the nose, I would say, we'll pull Brian here.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to do it, but I'm going to go 3. Like, I think it's a good nose, but there's nothing really standing out on it or anything like that. That's going to... The Michter's had a better nose. So
surprise, Michter's products with a great nose. So that's no surprise. Tell me something that I didn't know. And to be classic, also like classic Brian, I'm gonna sit here and talk like I'm gonna change your rating or be different from you for about 5 minutes, and then just at the end, just agree with you. So yeah, I'm at 3.
All right. So how about
it was just a little muted for me. I expected more, honestly, but that was the weak point for me, was the nose, and then to me there was a crescendo from there. So I'm going to jump to a 4 on this palate, just because I really enjoy that front of the fruit note, and then that transition into the little bit of oak and toasted notes at the back end. To me, it's lasting in that palate and flavorful. I'm going 4.
Absolutely agree. And then for the finish, I think it's a great finish. I do think it steps down a notch from the palate, so I'm going to take it to a 3.5.
Without Brian here, there's like less controversy, and
it's that positive correlation.
It's just easier. I don't know. I'm in a 3.5 too. Definitely takes a step back. For 100 proof, I mean, it's still a solid finish, I think, but it just leaves you wanting a little bit more in that finish after it transitions out of that palate. So not bad by any means, but 3.5.
All right. So my new favorite question.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yep.
This is very juicy.
It is. Very juicy fruit.
So is it worth the price, is what we're saying. So $180. I don't have one of these on my shelf. I would buy every Master's Keep that I see under probably $220, just because.
So, but to be fair, like you're okay, like like your splurge bottle is like $250. So
sure. Yeah.
If your splurge bottle,
I think you got me to buy one of those yesterday, actually.
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to get a $250 bottle tomorrow. We'll see if it happens. If 180 is your splurge, like you can only get one bottle for the 180, 190 price range. We'll even say $180 to $200 price range. Are you getting this? Because I feel like that's the fair question, because we got people that might be, in your case, like if they're like you, it's like, yeah, I can afford that. Yeah, I'm going to get it.
If it's the only bottle at 190, no. I'd probably buy 2 barrels.
Yeah. And that's where I am too. Like
2 barrel batches, if that's unclear.
Would I do this again next year? If I got to do the whole experience I did, absolutely. Then to me, it's absolutely worth it because of everything that came with this bottle. So every time I get this bottle, it's probably going to be mean more to me than others because mine's signed. I go back to the memories of meeting Jimmy Russell. I did that with my wife. It was a whole fun experience, everything like that. So if that's how I'm comparing it, yes. If I just see it on the shelf, I also don't think I could do it. Like
this, and I'm going to do what I give you and Brian a hard time for, is where like where you slot these bourbons. It's like, well, if you're this, then this will be good for you. And then so you can always find a place for a bottle of bourbon. The reason I wouldn't mind having this on my shelf, like initially just going to buy the Master's Keep, right? Just for name recognition. I don't have one on my shelf yet. Like I'm just going to buy it. But the other side of that is that's a really special bottle that if somebody is not as frequent of a bourbon drinker as we are, like they're going to really enjoy that bottle. And you can talk it up like that's a special release, expensive bottle. They're probably really going to enjoy it for their palate. So this to me, I would keep as my special bottle to share with that people that don't enjoy barrel proof bourbons.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect place for this bottle. This is very approachable at 101 proof. It's got a lot of flavor and everything in that. And so this would absolutely be that bottle that I guess this is where it goes. Like if you want to justify it to yourself, thinking it may not be as good and it may not live up to the hype, buy it with the idea to share it with other people that are interested in bourbon and want to try a fancy bottle. This is absolutely that. It's approachable. It's everything like that. Then they don't drink your George T. Stagg or whatever else is up there. Your Pappy. This could be that bottle. So yeah, I think that's the perfect spot for it. At least this release. So
yeah, correct. Yeah, and each year they're going to be different. So next year we're going to be hunting it just like, or this year, 2022.
Yep.
Right?
Well, to be fair, if I saw any of the older versions, I would probably
be buying those too. Yeah.
So, yep. So once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for sharing, TJ, and stay neat.